Hello to everyone, and thank you, Kinodvor, to inviting us to present our new project, Film Debate Club. I'm here in front of the small organization Kids Meet Art that is dedicated to film literacy in Croatia, which has established a well-known and well-attended film program, Seventh Continent. Our aim is to bring film to kindergartens and to schools, and our special film projects are held in hospitals, in oncology and pediatrics infirmatories. Our film projects are connected to deaf and blind children, and we are very much dedicated to bring film to the dislocated and hard-to-reach places in Croatia. So, for the purposes of this project, the Association Kids Meet Art and the Croatian Debate Society have joined their mutual fields, merging together film art, and debate. The result of this joining is the Film Debate Club, which will open the doors to the world of film art to the pupils, using the debate as a working method. So, what is your first thought when you hear word debate? What is your first thought? Talking. Is it maybe politics? Yeah, my first impression, my first association was, or first thought was politics. And that's why, because the debate we use today was developed in British Parliament, where there were only two parties, which enabled clear discussion among these two parties. Parliamentary debates were expanded through the British and American political educational system, making the debate a standard of public discussion. For debate, we need two opposed sides, and which use arguments and logical conclusions to prove or disapprove a topic. There are three categories they are assessed while having a debate. It's style, use of argument, and speaker strategy. So, we are probably all aware that relying on formal education is maybe insufficient today for the children. So the aim of debating as an extra curricular activity is to provide pupils, children, young audience, with additional skills and experience that can be usable in the future. So skills and abilities that are developed by the debaters, and believe me, I have seen from the minute 1 till the minute 90 in every session that we had with those kids, is that they are, if they are conducted with very good coaches, they are really developing critical thinking, research, active listening, public performance, non-verbal communication, verbal communication, teamwork, time management, social sensitivity according to the topics that they have to be open to, and entrepreneurship and confidence. So, by joining film and the debate, we wanted to encompass the wider interest of children or young audience and connect the daily use of media content with the possibility to express critical thinking from various perspectives, which I will explain you later in pan-tilt and why pan-tilt method. So the aims of the film debate clubs is not only desire to improve our pupils' debating competences. The key task of the film debate club is to develop advanced type of film literacy. So the primary motivation was to develop tools for conscious viewing, which is based on the possibility of recognizing techniques of film language, which they had chance to go deeper while watching the films. We introduced our pupils to the basics of the film history while having film debate clubs, and that was our aim. Its technical and cultural development. And of course, we wanted them to understand the relation between film and other arts, and how is it film connected to other arts. And of course, complete openness to all kind of delicate and open topics. As this project is actually some kind of work in progress, because it's actually we are presenting you something which is just done recently. I will present you in which, how we structured this project at the moment. So to be able to have a film debate club and to debate on film, it's necessary and beneficiary to have debate sessions. So we dedicated 4 to 8 sessions just as an introduction to debate, where it was 4 to 8 sessions. It's recommended, or we found it's useful to have it once a week per 60 minutes, or once in 2 weeks in 90 minutes. It's better to have very regular, so kids can connect what they have done the week before. And they are actually acquiring of basic debate skills. So they are introduced to elementary terminology, debate terminology, claim, what is claim, what is topic, what is structuring an argument, clarification, evidence, and links. After we finished with introduction to debate, we started with a film model. So film models consists of 4 sessions per 60 or 90 minutes. Each module is theme related to the film being shown. And we are actually starting, we have different work plan in each session. So first session is completely film related. So the children are engaged. We are in the nearby cinema. That was our recommendation. It can be held in school, of course, but we thought if we are dealing with the film education, it will be great to be in nearby cinema house, art cinema house preferably, and like Kinodvor, for example, and engage kids. In Croatia, it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, meaning 12, 13, and 14 years old children. So these pre-teenagers and teenagers that are actually hard to get to the cinema. Introduction was always conducted with a coach or educator, film pedagogue, and we gave them all sorts of interesting details about film and informations that can be interesting to them. Of course, after that, afterwards, we had screenings, and then only discussions, sharing emotions, experience, and their idea and point of view of the film, trying to go as well as much as possible deeply into the film language. Second session is actually dedicated partially to debate and partially to the film. So they are recognizing, they try to recollect what they have done the previous time, and they are starting to develop and to build arguments for their later debating. And pulling out from the movie important key points for each side, meaning are they opposite or they are positive or negative side of the debate. So how is a club structured, meaning how many kids? It's totally up to the coach. Because the debate for the primary school can be adapted. We have several formats in the world. Widespread is one for the secondary schools, for the students, but this Karl Popper is very adaptable for the primary school, and the debate coach can adjust it depending on the needs, abilities, and skills of the kids that he is having in front of him. Third meeting is completely dedicated to the debate. So they are completely structuring and building their performance arguments, how will they perform, and building the question to the opposite team. If we have time, we always have a connected debate as an exercise. And in general, we had on this position 15 completely different, interesting exercises which help children to concentrate, to connect them, exercises which works like a team building. So through the months of debating, they became really a club and a team working on film and debating. On fourth session and the final session, which is actually a debate session, they repeat their introductory speeches and remind themselves of the previous work on the films that they have watched. So the final debate must be analyzed by the debate coach at the end, so the pupils are aware of what they have done and what they need to improve. And it was really, for me, it was fascinating because I was writing a diary, how they were, their competencies were developing from session to session, from the first minute of one session to the last minute of that session. And then again, how they became more self-confident, how they were structuring their arguments. And I was only thinking, poor your parents. If they will start to debate at home, they will probably call us and tell us, what have you done to our children? They have arguments. They know how to present their fight and their, at the end, their victory. So here is the picture of the nearby cinema that we used. We had the help of a debate coach, and she's a part of the debate Croatian Debate Society, and of the film pedagogue. She's in the same time film critic, and she's a teacher in school, and very passionate about debate, and she really took this as a challenge and brought all the film part, film terminology and everything what is connected to film on a very, very nice way very competent way to children. So here is two pictures of atmosphere in the cinema, while the kids are divided into teams, and they are structuring their arguments and actually communicating teamwork. As I told you, they are developing teamwork. Okay, so now we came to the pan-tilt method, as I mentioned you before. Why is pan-tilt method? I don't know if you are aware what the, if we are talking about the camera movements. Pan-tilt means moving camera from the left to the right and from the up to the bottom, trying to show the different perspectives, which is actually the heart of the debate. So I will firstly I will show you the video clip. So you will later much easily follow what we have done actually in the debate day when we had final debate. You probably all know this beautiful film.
Stop it! Don't do it!
And this video is consist of all pan-tilt movements in whole movie, Hotel Budapest.
That's all for now. And meaty.
Faced by ends of nimble
Gustav and our business manager here. We were at the head of this congregation. It was a disorienting coincidence. We discovered our own.
Okay, let's go.
A lot of tulips in a box the size of a child's.
Goddamn son of a bitch.
I think you all got the picture. Can I proceed? Okay.
Boy with apple, I thought.
So debate day and how is pan-tilt method actually works. So one side is proposition and they are presenting their arguments in 4 minutes. Then, and they are all teams are very, very carefully listening what they are talking and they are taking notes. So opposition is after proposition having 4 minutes to present their arguments. After proposition of initial speeches, they have cross-examination, which durates 15 minutes. Where they have to question themselves. Questions have to be very short, clear, and precise on the topic that you will find out which the topic was, on the topic which is topic of this debate. They, after the cross-examination, they have just a few seconds, just a few minutes to actually to discuss what strategy will be furthermore for them, and proposition then has its final speech, which lasts 3 minutes, and a final speech is the one of opposition side. And after that, the judge's verdict says who actually had better structured the arguments, whose speaking strategy was better, and whose style was in general better. And they all making comments about that, and children are usually writing down so they can reflect afterwards about that. For a debate coach, during the session, it's good to take notes which pupils were actually giving introduction speeches and final speeches and having a question, so they can rotate the next time the different kids, so everybody can have a possibility to perform. So our first model, film model, was dedicated to the type of film. In Croatia, we have a really good terminology, which if we literally translate into the English, would be gender, film gender. I don't know if you have in Slovenia or in English. I know that in English, and gender and genre are combined. We wanted to compare the differences and similarities in feature, documentary, and an animated movie. So the films that we used were probably well-known films to you, because I know that Kinodvor had this film on program and probably still has it. So it's Filmski deček, it's Cowboy, and it's Medena koža, or Approved for Adoption. First one is animated, second is feature, and the last one is animated documentary. So our topic for the film model 1, so our first film model was dedicated to the type of film, and it would be best to film a documentary about our school. And I have to tell you that we were kind of nervous till the end, because we didn't know will they be able to debate, because they were really, they had lots of informations, they got lots of knowledge, could get lots of knowledge during watching the films, talking to the film pedagogue, building their arguments, having exercising, watching all these 3 films, reflecting on them. But we really didn't know if it's going to be debate or not, because idea was not to make a topic on content of the film, because that's easy. It was much more complicated to have a topic that is dedicated to the film language that director is using, and that's the thing that we want to teach them. So it was successful. We had a debate. So they were really, really eager to share their knowledge about documentary and animated and feature, building the arguments around this topic. But during the film watching and our sessions, people in debate world like to say it's a meeting. So I don't know if to say or meeting or a session. We practiced on different topics. So here are some. I couldn't put all. Here are some for the Phantom Boy, and you can see that first one is dedicated to more to the film language. Rest of 2 are more to the content of the film. So same for the Cowboy. The first one is the more film, and another is content of the film. So the imaginary parts of the film have revealed the most about Yo-Yo. And the third one, so the director should choose only one film type or film gender when making a film, instead of using documentary and animated. So they were claiming why they think that way. And other 2 are much more connected to the content. So as Petra said, outcomes. I structured very properly, like we are in a bank presentation, actually. What are our outcomes of the Film Debate Club? But I, again, have to remind you, it's a work in progress, and I think that we will, while reflecting in other film models, will come to the different or more conclusions. But our feeling was that we really developed advanced type of film literacy. Why? Because first of all, we had fun watching numerous quality films. we had a feeling that kids were really consciously watching those films, and by sharing their impressions and how they structured their impressions. It was not a vocabulary, it was great, super cool. It was really developed sentences about their feelings and impressions. They developed critical approach, which was very visible on medena koža, in debating about the medena koža, and they really improved with openness to all sorts of topics. We have seen that they really developed film vocabulary, and that they are using film vocabulary that the film pedagogue tried to teach them, and that at the end they understood the film genealogy. So they really knew what are in the essence differences and why in animated, documentary and feature, and what you can do that and how you can mix them and why. We got engaged film community. Kids from 12 plus were coming weekly or once in 2 weeks in a nearby cinema. Those were the kids that are not going necessarily in the same class, so vertically they had chance to keep in touch and to hang around, and now they know each other in the school, and they know who they are, how some of them think, and it's a nice way to in busy school schedule actually to develop their relations. It seems to us that it's a nice thing. And the most precious thing is actually that they were a part of educational process, but they didn't know they were in the educational process. And at the end, they really improve their debating skills and abilities. It can always be better. All those that I mentioned you in the beginning, like verbal, non-verbal, presentation skills, research, critical thinking, so all that on different stages, of course, they developed. Here are the examples of the future film debate models which we would like to implement. We will probably be ready for that in next school year. So we thought that model that is dedicated to the film and other arts is important. Short history of film, film language, film as an experiment. Why is important to experiment, and why directors are doing that. So Alejandro is not here, but I think that his presentation will really help us how to build that model. And what are the specifics of the documentary, feature and animated film. We have our films that we will work on, but you can choose any film that you want. Our idea is to, for example, for short history of film, we will probably use Charlie Chaplin's Kid. For film and other arts, we will probably use some film that is screened upon a novel. For film language, we have idea to use Forstadt Krokodile first part, because it's really rich with the film language examples. Film as an experiment, we will probably have Croatian film, which is filmed entirely of photos. So they will see that film, you can make a film by shooting a photo. And documentary will probably be Web Junkie, feature film Children of Heaven, and animated film we would like to offer children selection of short art animation movies, which are usually presented or on Animateca or in Animfest, in International Animated Film Festival. So for those who are interested how to establish a debate club in Slovenia, I found out that the person in charge is Mrs. Bojana Skrt. At the moment she is in New York, but she is quite fast on answering on email. She works in Proti Zavod za kulturu dijaloga in Ljubljana, and I have to tell you that primary school debate clubs are not very common. Croatia has a quite good network, Slovenia as well, and the info that I have, Germany is as well quite strong in this kind of network. Other countries are not that much into the primary school debate clubs, but in secondary schools and on student level, it's really a very well spread model of communication. So thank you for your attention. The Kids Meet Art Association has developed a detailed has written a detailed manual how to establish then every and each single step, what to do from step by step, but it's unfortunately in Croatian still. We will probably translate it. Colleague of mine and me, we are here to answer you now on your questions, and you can, of course, contact us through email and ask. We will be pleased to help you. Thank you.
Imamo še čas za vprašanja, zato kar na plano, če se vse.
Hello, how do you approach those children? Do they apply voluntarily?
Yes, it's extracurricular activity in the school, and we just announced that we are establishing a film debate club, and they came. And at the first moment, it was 25 children. Some of them were forced by their parents because they heard there is a debate in the school. And afterwards, we had 12 them coming regularly because they found out that they have really work, they have homeworks, and they really have to use their brain if they want to be the part of the debate and film debate club. So they came when we told them in the school that there is going to be a film debate club.
So
but I have to,
the schools offered this chance?
Yes, yeah, we talked to the school. We talked to the school. We had funding for a pilot project, and we chose the school in Zagreb, one school, which has a nearby cinema, and they just came.
Thank you.
Interesting part is, I have to tell you, it will be probably a situation in every city that we didn't have funding this part of the year, but parents are very much interested to finance that just to have debate and film debate club for their children.
I have one more question. How big are the groups of children?
12.
12.
12.
Only 12
but it's not,
children.
as I told you, maybe not that clear during the presentation, it can be various type of groups. It really depends what kind of kids do you have in front of you, how they react, how they are interested. These kids were really interested actually in seeing movies, talking about movies, sharing their impressions, and learn more about film. And what is it's not really answer on your question, but I forgot to tell you this. The film debate or debate club is not only for excellent pupils and for the children that don't have a fear of public performing. It's really for those contrary, for those who are not so great on all these levels. We had a boy in a group which was very, very shy. He even have some problems in connecting, I don't know how to say that properly in English, connecting the arguments, topics, and so on. But he was really, at the end, we really saw he improved, really improved, and their colleagues are not allowed to comment his performance because really high level of bon ton is shared in a debate club.
Can I have one more? Those sentences that were written on
topics,
your part, topics, yes, these claims. Do you propose them or the children propose them?
No, it's very hard to invent them. The debate coach, together with the film pedagogue, created these sentences.
Okay. And the jury is an adult, this pedagogue, you said?
Yes,
Okay.
debate coach. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that the jury will consist of other young people? Or
Usually in debate, usually kids who join to debate club very soon in their secondary school or in their student time become juries. But it's not something which is very democratic. And you have you must have a lot of experience to be a good judge. And kids are very emotionally into the debate, so you cannot make mistakes.
thank you very much. This was really interesting.
Thank you.